All right, welcome back to another episode of Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff and Matt as we now go into the defensive side. For those of you who watched the last episode, we did the all-time Eagles offense where we had a draft. It's kind of like a mock draft of on the offensive side. We went most of the positions, 3 positions deep, so it was a pretty interesting exercise. Today, we go defense. It was a little more fun for me on the defensive side of the ball because, number one, it's just, I think, deeper than our all-time offense, just in general. And then, as you go deep, it's still kind of interesting to see who you're going to pluck out of the weeds for the defense in all-time history. So, Matt, give you opening comments here, and then we'll dig right into it.
Yeah, well, to help describe to the fans how we structured this out, it's based on traditionally the Eagles have generally played a 4-3-D for most of our lifespan. So we're drafting 2 defensive end positions, 2 defensive tackle positions, 1 middle linebacker position, 2 outside linebacker right and left positions, and then you've got left and right corners, and then you've got safety 1, safety 2, generally a strong safety and a free safety. So
and we're going 3 deep in each one of those positions.
Yep. And we're going 3 deep. Like you said, it doesn't matter for us whether our draft picks played left or right defensive tackle. A defensive tackle is a defensive tackle.
Correct.
So we'll leave it there and not get too deep in the weeds. Same with the ends. Right and left side of the field won't really matter.
Right.
And I think no matter who wins the coin toss, I think I know the top 2 picks are going to be.
Speaking of coin toss,
I'm going to put that up
this time. Do you have a coin?
I
don't have a coin right now.
Well, we could go since you had the first pick last time. I get the first.
Yeah, I could give you the first pick. I guess we could do it that way. Yeah, let's just do it that way.
Okay,
fair.
I still think I know what the top 2 picks are going to be, but you might surprise me. All right, you ready for this?
I'm ready to go. You're on the clock.
There's nobody else. The pick was already in the moment we said we're drafting defense.
I know, but my pick was already in.
Reggie White is coming to my side. Reggie, you can't not go Reggie with the number 1 overall pick. Just like I'm not sure you can go anywhere else with the number 2 overall pick, but we'll see.
I think we should flip a coin now for the first pick. Just kidding. Yeah, Reggie was my first pick, so without question, Reggie White goes to Matt's team, who, by the way, we kind of had a consensus that Matt beat me on the offense, so I'm hoping to beat him on the defense here, but not a good start when he grabs not only best Eagle defensive end of all time, but the NFL's best defensive end of all time. So
if we stop drafting now, I'm definitely winning.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't even think of who I would give much thought who would be my second pick. Well, since we're digging into the D line.
Interesting. I'm going to kill you if you don't. If you go D line, I think my pick's going to kill you. But that's all right. That's all right. Lots of good D linemen on the board.
Well, maybe I won't go D line.
No, don't let me talk you out of it. Don't let me in your head. You don't want me. And let's just say everyone knows that that's no extra studying on my part. Of course, the consensus number 1 pick of anybody picking all-time defense has to go Reggie White. I would be interested if anybody has a comment.
You were picking all-time defense in the NFL.
Yes.
Picking Reggie White.
Yeah. So
all right. I'm going to go. I got to go Chuck Bednarik with my pick.
Nice.
And I just don't know. I honestly don't recall if he was a middle linebacker or outside linebacker.
I'm not sure either. So
let me do the old quick search here. Just type him in. I got it. I already got it up on the board.
Chuck is off the board. Chuck Bednarik, all-time Hall of Famer, Eagles great. This is going to set you up for a kill when I draft my second pick. You're going to hate it.
That's all right, man. I got depth. 1 second. He was
when he killed Frank Gifford, he was playing.
He's outside linebacker.
Outside. Okay. He's a big boy for outside.
Yeah. All right. So one of my OLB slots is taken.
Two NFL Hall of Famers off the board, 1 and 2. Well, I'm going Hall of Fame with my second pick. And it's going to crush your soul, but that's all right. I'm in the soul.
You already crushed it. I mean, now you're just stomping on it.
I'm in the soul taking right now. I'll let middle linebacker ride with my number 2 guy. And I'm going to go safety number 1, the X Factor, the Wolverine, the second most impactful player ever on the Eagles defense all time. I would say Brian Dawkins.
Man, are you off to a great start. Reggie White and Brian Dawkins. I was thinking about taking Doc, but
I thought you'd go Doc.
We got a lot of pretty good safeties in our team, so I'm okay.
Do. That's true. And we're not all that deep. We're not as deep as I thought we were at linebacker.
Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing, which is why I ended up electing to go with Chuck.
Yeah, I could see why. That makes sense.
Although I wasn't sure if he was middle or outside, but that was okay. It didn't really matter. We got to get him on there. All right, so Dawkins is now off the board. Matt has Reggie White and Brian Dawkins to start. All right, so after Chuck, where do I go? Well, I refuse to have you take one of my another all-time great Eagles. I refuse. Not happening.
This is.
Stopping it right here.
I know who this is.
Eric Allen. Off
100%.
the board.
100% Eric Allen. I knew. I was like, if you don't pick him, he's coming to my team too.
Yeah, that would be. I would almost have to walk off the set.
I would continue.
You have to finish the show on your own because I'd be out of here.
Okay. All right. Well, I know where I'm going then with my favorite linebacker of all time, number 59, Seth Joyner. Come on over. Impact players. That's what I'm looking for. Impact players.
Another great pick.
Put him at right outside linebacker so he can cover Dave Meggett. Seth.
Yep.
Joyner.
Good pick. Excellent pick. Can't argue with that pick at all. So now where do we go here?
I think I know my next pick too. Love it. Loving this.
You know what? I'm going to fire back at you here.
All right.
I'm going to snag one of your all-time greats.
Ooh.
This one, you could even call it maybe just total retribution.
You need a starting safety.
I know.
I have him in my top 3. I guarantee it.
Wes Hopkins off the board.
Yeah. Yep. It's like a freight train. Boom.
Yeah. Well, I'll take Dawkins. Okay, I'll take Hopkins.
All right, that's interesting because that's the first pick you've had that's made me shuffle where I go with my next pick. Because now I got a dilemma. Do I lock down my starting safeties by grabbing what I think is the third guy in the top tier of safeties before the tier drops just a smidge?
I agree. If it's the guy I'm thinking of.
Or do I make a move to bolster the defensive line? Since Reggie needs some guys that can play in the middle of the defense. And I'm telling you, it's a toss-up because JB's career was cut short and Jalen Carter's is still ahead. But those are my top 2, 1A, 1B, maybe 1A and 1A.5. I don't even know. I don't even know.
Right now, I would say in Carter's career, he's probably maybe I don't even know if we could really say this. He's so good. Probably right where he's probably already established himself as good as JB.
That's what I agree with. And that's why I'm taking Jalen Carter right here because JB played with Reggie. We know what that looked like.
Yep.
It was amazing.
It's pretty dominant.
Can you imagine putting JC right now next to Reggie? It might even be just a wash with JB and Carter. But I'll take Jalen
All right, Jalen's off the board.
I'm going to put him at defensive tackle.
Excellent pick. Man, if that isn't high praise, I don't know what it is. All right, well, it's interesting. You remember how I built my offense on the line? I'm yet to pick a defensive lineman yet. You complete opposite the way this defense goes.
But so the way this is shaking out, though, you needed that offensive line to go against what I've got going on.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's true. Man, what a matchup that is. Lane Johnson versus Reggie White. Oof. I guess Reggie would line up anywhere, but still, at least I got a solid line.
Oof. Yes. You're going to need it. I like it.
That's true. Like that is true. I guess those man, serious battles on the line for sure.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter versus Landon Dickerson.
Super picks. All
right, here we go. Let me go. Let's see. Where am I going to go here? Where do I want to go? I need. All right. Well, since you did take one of the two dominant defensive tackles, I will take Jerome Brown here.
I think you have to, because you couldn't possibly let me get Carter and JB.
No, that would have been ridiculous. So I'll take Brown.
Good pick. JB. All right, well, that means I got to go cornerback and secure who I think was probably at the level of Eric Allen, or maybe just a smidge lesser. But
what are you talking about? Nobody was better than Eric Allen.
Somebody I consider the all-time. If Eric's number one, then I think this guy's clearly the number two consensus cornerback on the Eagles of all time, and I'll take Troy Vincent.
Yeah, he wasn't as good as Allen, but obviously very, very good.
He also didn't have that defensive line that Eric Allen had. I'm just saying. That's what the Hall of Fame has been saying. I'll say it too.
Yeah, but Eric finally got in.
Yes, he did. This year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll grab Troy.
All right. Obviously, can't argue that one. He probably is the number two. And I think there's a couple guys in the conversation there, but
there are.
But he's definitely one of the guys. So, all right. Well,
the big guns.
There's still a lot of big guns out there.
The big guns, for the most part, like the no-doubters, no-brainers, are kind of out of the way here. So this is where this draft gets exciting.
The Hall of Famers, most of them are gone. And,
now it gets really interesting, I think, already.
Well,
who do we rate? Like, I can't wait to see how we rate the rest of the all-time Eagles defensive line players, because the no-brainers are off the board.
Yeah, that is true. This is going to be interesting from this point forward. All right. Well, with that said, this is interesting because, we're talking about, you were saying I'm picking Carter, not knowing how, because Jerome played with Reggie. How would Carter do with Reggie? Well, mine's kind of like a flip side. The guy I'm going to pick, play with Reggie. Not sure how good he'd be without Reggie. But to me, I'd still think he'd be a damn good end without Reggie. I'm going to go Clyde Simmons.
Clyde, he also has one of the best all-time ESPN monikers, Clyde the Glide Simmons.
Clyde the Glide. Yep.
I'm telling you, you watch his tape, and I know, like you said, he's got Reggie on the other side, but he also had seasons where he was hitting 18, 19 sacks.
Yeah. I think he's second all time in Eagles sack list, I think.
Yeah. And when he left the Eagles, he was still putting together good seasons with I forgot where he went.
Yeah. So Clyde's my pick there, defensive end.
Yeah, I like it. I like the pick. And that was up for consideration for my next pick. But now, since you've got Clyde off the board, I think I got to go with the next highest impact player at his position, middle linebacker, and go with the X-Man and take Jeremiah Trout.
Good pick. Yeah, he's probably was going to go off the board with either one of us next. So,
yep.
Trotter is off the board.
Love him. Trotter and Jeter are my linebackers. I'm loving it.
You're going to force me now to take who I believe is the only Hall of Famer left. But I'm going to take him. And that is Bill Bergey. Will be my middle linebacker pick.
Bill Bergey, middle linebacker. If I were a younger or an older Eagles fan, because you got a couple years on me.
I saw the very end of his career. But I
never saw that much. Okay. Now it's going to get even more interesting.
Yeah, because we got to go 3 deep on each position. In case
let's see. I think I know how DN is going to play out from here a little bit. I think you like a guy as a favorite more than I like a guy who's my favorite. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know. But I think the best player right now on the board for a need position for me is I'll take Malcolm Jenkins off the board.
Yeah, he was going to come off at any time here. Yep, good pick. Probably I would rank him third in all-time safeties for the Eagles. So that was the next guy to come off for that position.
Yeah, so we agree, right? Dawkins, Jenkins, and Hopkins, with Dawkins being the clear-cut number 1 out of both. But I think those 3 are in a tier. And probably exactly as they were drafted, Dawkins, Hopkins, Jenkins is how I would go.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. All right, well. Man, where do I go here?
Getting spicy.
I will go. Man, I think I will go. I'm going to go defensive tackle again here. Solidify my middle with a starting 2. And I'm going to grab, this one might surprise you. This is pretty good depth here. I think this guy's an etch up, like we're talking about tiers. I think he's the last one, although it could be debatable here. But I think he's the one that's probably the safest pick out of all of them. I'll go with my number 2 defensive tackle to pair up with Jerome Brown. I'll go Corey Simon.
Yeah. I had him number 3. Carter, Brown, Simon were my top 3.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's just a smidge above some of the next couple guys that I think are going to come off the board at defensive tackle. But he was dominant. His first ever as an Eagle, he sacked Aikman, didn't he? Wasn't the Cowboys quarterback that he sacked? His first defensive play.
First sack. I don't remember, but you could be right about that. But I just know that he was about as solid a player, would get pressure, just stuff the run, like did it all. And he did it for a long time. So that's my guy, Corey Simon. He had the biggest thighs on the planet. You know how he had a low center of gravity, man. I don't know how he moved there.
Yeah, he did.
Corey Simon.
All right, that's a great pick. I love the thinking that we got to do now out of these positions. Because now is where typical skill set versus all-time favorites, right? Like we both have our lineups of favorites, and I'm like, ooh, do I go with a favorite over somebody that might be considered a better player? This is where we get into that kind of beef. And I think that's where I'm going to go with my next pick. You're solid at DT, so I'm going to hold off on going DT. I'm not going to chase you. I'm going to grab one of my favorite all-time Eagles players to play on the opposite side of the line of Reggie White, and I'm going to grab, even though Carl Hairstorm, what's his last name? Hailstorm?
Hairston Jr.
Even though he's on the board, and I fully admit, all-pro player all-time, I'm going with my all-time Eagles favorites, number 58.
Oh, yeah.
Trent Cole.
Yep.
Who I always thought was underrated by the NFL.
Cole? Yeah, I mean, he made some Pro Bowls, though.
Yeah, he did.
But
he was better against the run than most people gave him credit.
One of the best value draft picks. I think he was a 5th-round pick. I mean, that was...
Yeah.
That's a steal by the Eagles to get that guy in the 5th round. So, all right, Trent Cole's off the board, which makes me want to take a closer look here at defensive end because I need someone to pair with Clyde Simmons. Who's that going to be? You mentioned one of the guys I'm eyeballing.
I think there's two. I think there's two that are left on like tier 2, which is where I had Trent Cole was on tier 2. I think there's 2 more.
Yeah. Well, Cole probably would have been my next guy off the list too. That's a good pick. I don't know. I think because I got them so grouped tightly together, I might just pass on defensive end just because I got a bunch of guys. They're all right, kind of the same level. I'm gonna. You know what? I think I'm going to. I don't know if I want to go there either. Let me think about this.
Yeah, I love it. I love the strategy. I can working.
I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna go because this is kind of this is a group that falls off pretty quickly, and that's the safety position. So I'm gonna go grab Michael Lewis as my number 3 safety.
A good pick. Good pick.
So I'll pair him with Wes Hopkins.
Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah. I have him just a notch above one of my all-time favorite Eagles.
Yeah.
But I like you said, I went with the guy I think is a little bit better overall player than one of my favorite players of all time.
Yep. Yeah, and that's exactly how I think I had them ranked there as well. All right. God, I'm looking at linebacker. I'm looking at defensive tackle.
Where did you have Lewis ranked on your list?
I had him number 4 right after probably your all-time favorite player.
Okay. Yep.
Well,
he's not my all-time favorite Eagle. He's just one of them.
Yeah. So, see, trying to cut off the tiers here. There's a couple guys left, and then the tier at cornerback might just edge itself down just a little bit. So I'll grab Slay, who's my 3rd-ranked cornerback. I'll grab Darius Slay to go at Troy.
Wow, you had Slay pretty high in your rankings.
I did, and
I got probably, let me think, 1, 2. I got a couple guys, 3 actually, that are right around him. But okay, that's I mean, you can't argue with it, and I can't really say that he's not better than the guys I'm thinking of. So good pick. Slay's off the board. That kind of helps me a little bit because there's some guys I like better than him that you just bypassed. Should I just grab my number 2 now? I don't know. Let me think. I'll think I'll pass there. Where else is getting skimpy? Man. Well, I mean,
This is fun.
I might as well just. This is weird because I'll be digging into the same position again, but I like where the others' positions are right now. So I will go and grab Andre Waters. I'll take him now.
There you go. All right. So you went back-to-back safeties.
I did. Yeah.
I'm going back-to-back cornerbacks because I'm not,
okay, that's interesting.
I'm not letting you get one of my favorite players of all time. And I remember we were at the first game when he was a rookie, wearing number 29, I think, when he knocked the shit out of that kick returner and caused the fumble on like the very first kickoff of his first game, Mr. Sheldon Brown.
Yeah.
That plus the Reggie Bush.
That's the guy that I probably would have taken over Slay just because he's more physical, and I love that part of him.
Yep.
So good pick. See, now you're forcing my hand, and I go safety. I mean, I got to go corner now.
And he was longtime Eagles, Sheldon Brown.
Yeah, one of my favorite players for sure. Not to mention, you mentioned, the special teams play. And then, of course, Reggie Bush is probably still having nightmares from that hit in the playoff game.
I don't know how's your
one of the all-time decleaters in the history of the NFL.
Like a human body is.
You just see Bush like crawling on his hands and knees back to the sideline.
The human body is an amazing.
And that was the first play of the game.
It was brutal. One of the all-time great hits.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right, here we go. I will, and this is a guy that had a very short career, but until he tore the crap out of his knee and was never the same player and ended up having a short career, he would have teamed up with Eric Allen to make one of the greatest secondaries. Played in Buddy's defense. I know it's kind of a reach because he didn't have a long career with the Eagles, but talent-wise, I think it justifies him to be picked around this time. I will go Ben Smith with my second cornerback.
He was a top pick too, right? Was he a
first-round draft pick? Yep.
Rounder, yep. And he would have filled the only hole on that defense.
Yeah.
The only hole on that late 80s, early 90s Buddy Ryan defense was that opposite corner back position.
The Izell Jenkins spot.
Yeah. And when Ben Smith went down, it was like, oh, man. Teams just grew on that side of the field all day.
Yep. And he was good. He didn't play long. Probably a lot of Eagle fans, unless you were around in the 90s, probably have no idea who that is. But all the talent in the world as a cornerback, just that's one of the players that the vet got to. The vet turf, that is.
Yeah. Well, so this is a tough decision now because we're looking at depth spots. I got one more starting linebacker position open and one more defensive tackle position open for starters. But the skill players at the other positions that are deeper are kind of equivalent with the guys I can grab as starters right now. So, and I got a couple all-time favorites still sitting out there that I would love to have on my team. But I think I'm going to go back to the cornerback. Well, this is 3 cornerback picks in a row.
Holy cow, it is.
And I want Quentin Mitchell on my team.
Shit.
To back up Troy Vincent over there at right cornerback.
Yeah, good pick. I thought maybe I'd be able to snag him a little later, but that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Yeah, I mean, that's no doubt. You're talking about the next tier, he's there. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. God, would I possibly go 4 quarterbacks in a row? You better think about that.
I might. I mean, I got 2, but since they're going, this is a big run on cornerbacks right now. I will. I'll take the other young stud. I'll take Cooper DeJean off the board.
I was gonna snag him next.
I'm gonna let you get both of them. I'll take Cooper.
Cooper off the board. He was awfully tempting to just be like, you know what, I might go right back to that well. Not to give you a little push.
Yeah, that would have really started a run in cornerbacks.
When you make plays
like that. Over. Will Matt go a different direction now? We've had 4 straight cornerbacks picked.
I think I can because I think Cooper was the next line across the board. Even though there are some really, really good cornerbacks.
Yeah, we got to go 3 deep on each side. So,
yep. I do think there's I don't mind the rest of the guys that are on my list. Cooper would have been my, recent memory. Can't take away that Super Bowl play that kicked off the entire ass kicking of the Chiefs.
No. Or the tackle on Jamar Chase in the flat.
The stiff of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that was my next thing. I was just going to say, yeah. How many guys, tackle Henry backwards one-on-one? Not many.
All right, well, I still need a starting defensive tackle. And this one's close. I got 3 guys. 2 of them. Actually, I got 4 guys. But one of them was just too short of a career. But this guy was a beast when he played with the Eagles. I'm going to go Javon Hargrave.
Oh, good one.
as my other starting defensive tackle with Jalen Carter. Not a fan favorite.
Good pick. Believe it or not, I didn't even have him written down in my top 12. I forgot about him now. It wasn't because he didn't belong there.
He's kind of a short timer.
One of those guys that kind of slipped through the cracks there for me.
Yep.
You had one on the offense. Oh, yeah, Deshaun Jackson. My God. I'm still kicking myself. How the heck? How did I not have Deshaun Jackson, my wide receivers?
I didn't
even have him listed.
That's terrible.
That almost just discredits this entire program.
I can't believe it
happened. Major brain fart. I apologize. That's horrible. All right, well, I'm gonna go back to defensive tackle too. I already have two. I have Jerome Brown and Corey Simon.
Stellar so far.
But this is the guy I thought you might swipe right here.
I think
you're number 2.
I think there might be a run on tackles right now.
And you passed on him, so I'm going to grab him. And he's on my list of one of the most underrated Eagles of all time. I'm going to take Andy Harmon.
Woo! Yep.
As my number.
On one of my social media feeds, somebody had posted a question of like, who are the all-time like forgotten Eagles that were actually great players, and his picture was on there, number 91.
Yeah, he definitely was.
The great white hope at defensive tackle, Andy Harmon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Blew out his knee on that Veterans Stadium turf.
Another guy that turf took out, but he at least had a good 6 years or so, 5-6 years.
Yeah. Well, that's funny that you took Harmon, because I'm going to stay on defensive tackle, because when you said long-time old school Eagle or old school favorite, I thought you were going to go Hollis Thomas, who I love.
He's on my list.
Hollis Thomas.
Yeah, the run stuffing beast.
Yep, just a funny.
Didn't get much penetration, but man, no one ran on that guy.
Nope. Hollis Thomas. Give me the run.
Good pick. Definitely beefs up the middle from Barkley on my offense.
Beefy, jovial guy.
All right. Well,
wow.
I still only have one defensive end, so I need a starting defensive end. But my strategy worked because I got a lot of guys and no other defensive ends came off the board.
Yeah.
So that worked for me. Where do I go though? Some guy I have a lot of these guys right around each other. I don't really have anyone that's like just coming off the page at me. But since you passed on him once, I think it's the pick that he might be maybe just an edge. Maybe just an edge. I'll go Carl Hairston Jr. as my other defensive end.
That's a good pick. You're going to force my next to follow you.
Okay, you're up.
Some leadership on that defensive line, even though I got Reggie. Let's say Reggie gets hurt and has to sit out. I need some BG.
Yeah, it was between those two for me.
Yep. No, exactly. I was like, I'm pretty much going to follow you here no matter what and grab that last one, because that's where the tier, I think, slips a little bit more is after Hairston Jr. and Brandon Graham.
Well, I will go who's the next top guy on my board. I will stick with defensive end because now we got a run here going here. I will go Hugh Douglas as my number 3.
Yeah, that's a good one. I remember when they signed him, that was so big because they kind of were like,
yeah, they didn't really have a rush after Reggie. I mean, there was a couple good guys. They never had 2 pass rushers really after Reggie left. This kind of was only one pass rusher that was good from that point forward for a while.
Well, you know what? I've got to take I think I got to go D end again now.
You don't have to.
I think I got to.
That's funny. We just had a run on cornerbacks.
I know.
Then we had a short run on defensive tackles. Now we got a run going on defensive ends.
I think the ends are getting really.
My strategy paid off though because I waited on defensive end, and you didn't snag any more, and it kind of worked for me. I still got Hairston. I mean, what round are we in? I just grabbed Hairston. 3, 6, 8, 11. We're like around 14.
Yeah. And Hairston's arguably.
I mean, the rounds are obviously very short because we're only 2 teams here, but.
Yeah, Hairston can be considered the number 2 guy next to Reggie. But, all right, I've got favorites over here, or I've got another end. I'm going to take William the Fuller Rushman.
Yeah, he's on my list. He was like definitely he was, when you use the word solid to describe him, just very consistent, can give you a pass rush, can give you some stop the run, really good solid player. He was on my list and definitely a guy that I would be considering with my next defensive end pick. So that he's going right where I thought he'd go. Good pick for Fuller there. Well, I'm going to use an old Top Gun reference here. I'm going to say I feel the need for speed.
Mm.
So I'm going to go with a speed pass rusher.
Mike Mamula.
No, we're not talking about at the combine. We're talking about actually in games. And we will go with a guy who
oft injured speed rusher.
Has best years as not an Eagle, but played an integral part of the Eagles Super Bowl run in 2004. And that would be a guy that I've also said that Nolan Smith reminds me of the second coming of Javon Curse.
Yeah, I had him. I'm short on researching my defensive ends because he's the last guy I had out there. So, like you said, I left my defensive ends a little bit short, so I'm going to have to think on the fly and come back to that position at the end here. And hope that you don't steal some folks from me. But God, where do I go now?
Now it's going to get really interesting. By the way, as we're doing this and Matt's thinking about his next pick, make sure you like and subscribe and write your comments down as far as who you think was drafted too high maybe or could have waited on, or who your top draft would have looked like if you went through. Rank your guys, and we'll take a look at that as well.
This is getting interesting. Very interesting.
I need to start a ticker.
Yeah, I know. I got to write some names down while they're in my head.
Sounds like you're delaying here.
Well, let's see. Linebacker.
Going linebacker?
I think I'm going linebacker.
I've only got one starting linebacker for I actually still need another starting outside linebacker. I just kind of
I think I'm going to go Willie T right here. William Thomas.
Yeah, good pick, man.
Thomas, Joyner, and Trotter are my starters.
Yeah, that's a great threesome right there. You're gonna force me now to go grab it off. I just realized I still need a starting offensive linebacker. I only have Chuck Bednarik. I have Bill Berge
in the middle,
but I still need another outside linebacker. So who's that going to be? Well, it's going to be one of my first Eagle favorite players. So it's funny how my linebacking core so far, not one of them played before 1990. I mean, not one of them played past 1990.
Including this next pick, I imagine.
Including this next pick, exactly.
I think I know.
You think you know who it is?
I never saw him play, but I know I've heard you say his name many, many times.
Here he comes. He is one of my favorite players. He was a former first-round pick of the Eagles, had a great career, was played in that first Super Bowl against the Raiders. Actually, first Super Bowl against the Raiders. That's going to be Mr. Jerry Robinson.
Jerry Robinson, 100%.
Really, really. I mean, the Eagles did not have a good defense back then. He was their best player by far.
No. So, wow, we got to go 3 deep.
Jerry Robinson is like a vintage linebacker. Huh?
We have to go 3 deep.
Woo! Yeah, we do. On each outside linebacker position.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking stuff up. Well, I'm gonna. Where do I go? Let me go middle linebacker.
And I'll just say this because I just picked Jerry Robinson because there's a lot of really good linebackers that are going to start coming off the board on the outside. That Eagle fans are going to be like, wow, Geoff picked Jerry Robinson over these guys? Yeah, because Jerry Robinson was better than these guys.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
So, yeah. I'm going to go with a guy that also played on a thin Eagles defense at the time he was there, but was an exceptional player, still part of the organization. I think there's more depth right now at middle linebacker than there is at the outside position, so I'm going to go with Connor Barwin.
Well, yeah, because we got to go, we really got to go 3 deep on two of the, outside linebacker spots. So,
yeah.
It's a good pick. He's, that's why I just made that statement about Jerry Robinson, because I'm like, yeah, a lot of Eagle fans are going to know Connor Barwin's name more than Jerry Robinson. Now, Connor Barwin was more of a much better pass rusher than Jerry Robinson was. I'll give you that. So that's good. That'll add to your pass rush for sure. All right. Well, that's a good pick, and it's going to force me to go outside linebacker again since I only have the starters, and that's it. My next outside linebacker will be I'll take Bill Romanowski.
Oh, yeah, Bill. I totally whiffed on him. Yeah.
Who was has most of his prime was with the 49ers, but great linebacker, that's for sure.
Yep. I thought you were thinking of maybe Casey Matthews.
Yeah. All-time draft busts for the Eagles? He'll be on there.
All right. Well, I think I got to stay on outside linebacker then.
You don't have to.
I think I want to.
Okay.
Because I still think there's depth in the middle. And if I'm looking at the best skill player on the board, there's a couple that are close, but I think this guy's best years came when he was an Eagle. Whereas some of the other guys' best years may have come as a different player. But I'm going to go Nigel Bradham.
Yeah, good pick. Definitely would have been coming off for me soon. There's only one player I like better than him that I have left on my list, and it's not by a lot. It really isn't. In fact, they're probably about the same when I think about it. I'd probably just give him an edge because he was an actual Eagle draft pick. The reason why I'm talking about him a lot is he's going to be my next pick.
Yeah, I think I know it is.
As I plug into the outside linebacker again. So I will go Michael Kendricks.
Yep. All right, I'm going to stay.
So now I got 2 deep on both my outside linebacker positions all of a sudden. So they're looking good. Looking better.
So we're freaking draining this linebacker spot. All right, I'm staying linebacker too. And I'm going to fill out one of my spots and grab Carlos Emmons.
That was my next. That would have been my next pick. There he goes. Wow, I'm going to have to do some real deep thinking now because I didn't go 12 deep on my outside linebackers when I was doing my research because I have nobody left. So I need to figure out how to pick 2 more guys. All right.
I suppose you could pick from the middle and have them play outside as well. So
yeah, not really though, because the guys that I have left, I guess there's a couple guys that were, but there's 2 that were only middle linebackers that are left on my list. Okay. I don't know. I guess we can agree to that if we really run into a problem here. But where am I going to go next? So what do I need some help? All right. So I only got 1 starting middle linebacker right now. So I think I'm going to go pluck the next one. And this is one where I'm going to take a guy that was extremely talented, may not be the best middle linebacker left to pick, but he was a favorite. Again,
I would bet he had the longest arms of any middle linebacker.
Matt knows what I'm talking about. I'm going to go with my number 2 middle linebacker to back up Bill Berge, Mr. Byron Evans.
Yeah. Anybody that watched those late 80s Buddy Ryan defense years loves Byron Evans. Yeah, that's a good one. Well, we got to keep running on linebackers then. All right.
I keep saying that, but you can go anywhere you want.
Yeah, no, I can, but all the talent's kind of sitting right there. I got 2 guys, and one of them I actually don't know if he's considered middle or not, but I believe he's middle. Zach Bond considered middle linebacker?
Ooh,
I don't know.
Man, that's tough. He plays both. He literally plays both.
Right? With the kind of hybrid defense. So
you can you can put him wherever you want. How about that? See, I'll let you choose where you want to put him. You want to put him in the middle, you can put him in the middle. Good pick.
I'm going to grab Bond, and I'm going to put him in the middle.
All right.
Unless I need to flex him out at right outside. If you don't pick who I have in mind next, then I might slide him out to outside linebacker. So I'm not going to.
My next pick for middle linebacker is a guy that, again, had his best years not with the Eagles. However, he has a couple good productive years with the Eagles, and he's one of the best coaches in the NFL. I'm going with D'Amico Ryans.
Can't argue with the pick. Can't.
My number 3 middle linebacker.
Argue with the pick. But that leaves me my favorite next pick of linebacker for the middle spot. I'll go TJ Edwards.
Ooh.
And I'll move Zach Bond out to outside.
Oh, now Bond goes to the outside. Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure whatever linebackers are left.
The tackling machine Edwards.
If you're up for agreement on any linebackers that are left, you can play them anywhere that you have an open spot.
I think I have to because like I said, I ran out of outside linebackers that at least, I mean, I obviously know more linebackers, but I don't know if I draft them on the all-time Eagles team.
All-time Eagles. I have 2 names left at a linebacker position. I'm not sure where one of them played.
I got 2 left, but they're both middle linebackers.
I believe both of mine are, unless one of mine is an outside.
But my guy is a guy that may have played outside linebacker. I don't think he did, though. I think he stayed in the middle linebacker. So I'm going to pick him anyway, because in case we do decide to be able to play these at least some versatile middle linebackers on the outside, I'm going to grab him because he might be one that fits that mold. Either way, he'd be my well, it doesn't make any sense to pick a 4th middle linebacker.
No, it doesn't.
So I guess we're gonna have to make this decision now.
But I'd say if you need depth on the other outside positions, just go with whoever you've got.
Yeah, he's a guy that I think legitimately could play outside if they needed to. That's the type of player he was. Although I think most of his career he played middle. Yeah, but he's a guy that you could see. He's not like a Trotter who would strictly is a middle linebacker. He's not like that. No, so I'm gonna go Jordan Hicks then with that pick.
Ooh, I forgot about Jordan Hicks. Yeah. No, Hicks can play outside.
So I will go Jordan Hicks with the outside.
All right. I've got 2 linebacker names left on my list. Jordan Hicks, if I had remembered, would have been 3 out of these. But I'm going to go with a name that's an old schooler. Never saw him. Pretty sure he played before even you started watching. Really? I think he played even before Bill Berge. But the name is familiar, so if I know the name, he must have been good. So I'm going to go without having known much about him, but Maxie Bond will be my final linebacker.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure either where if he was middle or outside.
I'm going to put him in the middle.
Okay.
Those third stringers can flex. We'll just say that.
What's funny is the guy, and I won't say his name just in case you still have him or still need a. Once you're done drafting linebackers, if he's still off the board.
I am. I'm done drafting linebackers.
Oh, you're done with linebackers? Because here's the one that I have left, and there's no way possible. This gets back to what I was using. I couldn't use him as an example when I was saying there's no way you can move him to the outside. And then I was talking about Trotter then. This guy is even definitely no way you'd move him to the outside. Levon Kirkland.
So Kirkland.
So I'm not gonna I'll just leave him on the board because I can't put him as an outside linebacker.
That's fine. The last linebacker name that I had was James Willis, who was pretty good.
He was another middle linebacker, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I had Willis there. I thought of Kirkland, but when I hear the name Levon Kirkland, all I can remember is that stupid Joe Jurevicius drag route across Kirkland's face that he could not stick with when the Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He can't cover anyone.
No, he was too old by the time we got him.
Well, even in his prime, versus when he was with the Steelers, he was a middle linebacker guy. He was not a guy that was covering anyone in the backfield. No, so I have to have one more outside linebacker. So I'm going to have to think who it is because I'm ran out of names, and I guess I'll just He'll be my Mr. Irrelevant.
You got to go current. Go current with that one.
Who?
Go with a current player.
I mean, I could. Yeah, I might.
Either that or Chris Gilcom, still available.
Hey, he. I actually thought about him. I really did, because I still am not sure he really got a full run with Eagles, but he did. You know,
Yeah.
He didn't pan out. Put it that way. He didn't pan out.
All right.
Probably will go with the current Eagle for that one. All right. So
drafted Ryan's, and I drafted. Who did I draft? Maxie Bond. Right? It's your pick.
You got Bond. Yeah, it's my pick.
Okay.
My next pick I'm gonna go. Man, I got my safeties right. Yeah, I'm done with safety. I'm done with safety, by the way. So you're good if you have any left to go.
You're done at safety, huh?
I am.
Okay.
I
think I can circle my 2 right here that I would put and fill out my roster with. Okay.
Man, now these guys that are left, shoot, I'm just going to go with the guy who, I mean, there's definitely corners left there that are better than this player. Certainly better tacklers than this player. But if I want an assassin in the backfield, and my secondary, one of the best snipers in NFL history, really, I'm going to pick him, even though he's not, like I said, probably not the best overall corner left. Actually, he's definitely not. 3 guys probably better than him. But I'm going to go for the picks. I'll chase the interceptions, and I'll pick Asante Samuel.
Yeah. Yep. That was a good description, because I'm pretty sure you're talking about Asante Samuel. But yeah. There's a bunch of guys right here where I'm like, wow.
I just hope I have a good enough defense that they can tackle for him. So that's my mentality there.
I need to draft 2 more of these cornerbacks to fill out my roster, which means I have 4 names written down. So I'm safe, but I think there's one that's standing out, screaming my name, that's better skill than some of these guys. But I've been drafting this defense based on impact plays.
Hence my Asante Samuel selection.
Well, before you had Deshaun with his miracle at the Meadowlands #2, you have Herm Edwards with his miracle at the Meadowlands #1. I'll grab Herm just for the lore.
Yeah, I mean, he had a long career. He was good. Good player.
Yeah, I'll grab Herm.
All right. Herm Edwards off the board. They played to win the game.
It's one of my favorite all-time quotes.
All right. So we're going to dig into defensive tackle here. Some good talent on the board.
Yeah, there is. And I only had 8 names written down, so I'm stuck because I need 3 guys. I need 3 guys, and I got 2 names. So I'm going to have to dig deep in the well after this.
I'm going to go with a guy that I'm trying to think now. Like you just said, impact. I can go impact or just the best, or probably the best overall guys that are left. I'm trying to figure out which way to go. Because this guy was just a stud in terms of just longevity, could do it all, give a little pass rush, stuff the run. I think I'm going to go with him because he had a longer career. So even though there might be a guy or 2 that might even be more talented than him overall, I'm going to go Mike Patterson.
Oh, Mike Baby Sapp, right?
Yeah, Mike Patterson, my #4 defensive tackle.
Mike Patterson. Well, I'm going to go cornerback again.
All right. You're going to force me to go corner again.
I'm going to go Bobby Taylor.
Yeah, good pick.
Mr. Tall.
Shut down Michael Irvin.
Bobby Taylor.
Good job with Bobby Taylor. I'm going to go. I'll dig into the cornerback patch, and I'll go with the guy who played opposite of Herman Edwards.
Oh, yeah. He's on my list.
A few years. I'm going to go with Rynell Young.
Rynell Young. Nice. He was my last cornerback that I had written. I got one more name left if you get stuck there. My cornerbacks are full.
I only need one more corner. So,
well, if you get stumped, I have a name for you. But
I'm good. I have I got 3 guys left.
Nice
on my list.
All right. I should probably not ignore the defensive tackle position any longer. Let me grab Milton Williams.
Yeah, that's one of the guys I was saying. Patterson might not be as talented as Williams, but just had a long, solid career. So I don't want him.
Or as you like to say, Mo Williams.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about him anymore. Screwed up his name. They don't even play the Patriots this year, so.
All right.
All right. Milton Williams, great pick. We'll see how he does without Carter next to him.
You are done with safeties?
I am. Yes, I'm done with safeties.
All the way through? All backups?
Yeah, we only need 3. Oh, no, that's right. We need 6.
Yeah, 2 safety positions.
Oh, okay. I'll take it back.
No way. I have 4 names left on this, and you're
I have a bad defensive coordinator who only wants to play 1 safety in the secondary. Yeah. All right. Thanks for reminding me that I overlooked that. Okay. Yeah. Before you take all the good safety stuff.
I should have kept my mouth shut for one more.
Yeah. You helped me out there. Shoot. Well, I will take Quentin Michael then. Quentin Michael, rather.
Good pick.
Quentin Michael will be my 4th safety.
There might be a run on safeties now. I'll take. Give me. You got Coop, so I'll take the other half of the podcast there. I'll take Reed Blankenship.
Good pick. He's probably the best one left, I would say. All right. Yeah, in fact, man, getting skimpy on safety here. All right. So where am I done? I'm definitely done a middle linebacker. I need one more outside linebacker. Don't have anyone left? No, but I can wait because you're done on offensive.
I am done at the linebacker position.
All right.
Linebackers, I'm done. I'm just looking at defensive line and safeties.
Well, I might as well take. Let me see. Corners, I still need one more corner. All right. There's actually one Hall of Famer still left out there.
At cornerback?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take him right now. This might be the sleeper pick of the entire draft.
The Eagles have a Hall of Fame cornerback?
Yeah.
Left?
Yes.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Did the guy play like one?
He was before you and I were alive, or at least enough to know football. Tom Brookshire. Tommy Brookshire. He will fill out my cornerback slot.
It's funny how we end these positions with Hall of Famers like we did on offense. And with my last running back slot, I'll take Steve Van Buren.
I know. He's crazy.
One of the greatest of all time.
I mean, we had to take him. I mean, it would have been so bad. How could you have an all-time Eagles offensive draft and not pick Steve Van Buren? That would be the whole credibility, the whole video is done. Which is kind of what I felt like with Tom Brookshire. I'm like, I didn't think you'd remember him. So I was right about that. And so now I'm good at corner.
I will grab defensive line because he also had a long career with the Eagles and the Raiders. One more piece of that 46 defense. I'll go with Mike Golick.
Oh, yeah.
Little veteran experience.
Yep. Yeah, solid guy. You know, Mike Golick off the board.
It's getting tight.
I still need 2 more defensive tackles. So should I nab one? I think I should. I will now pick my next defensive tackle will be Darwin Walker.
That's the guy I was trying to think of his name. I'm like, who's that guy that overachieved his entire career and was rock solid?
He was.
And who I was thinking of, Darwin Walker. Yeah. Yep. Nice pick. That would have been a nice last defensive tackle for me to grab. I got to go outside the box on that one now.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
I got positions at end open, and I'm out of names.
for where are you out of names?
I need 2 more ends.
And you're out of names?
Yeah, I mean, there's some. I mean, I've got names, but I'm sure there's people all time that are better than these guys. But
wow, dude. Yeah, there's some big time names left. I'm gonna snag him.
The guy, who's the crazy guy that was all tattooed up? I'll take him. I'll take Jason Babin.
Oh wow, dude, you're gonna shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you done at end?
No. so keep picking those guys.
Yeah, I'm stuck. I got guys' names like who's the guy from Tennessee that wasn't Reggie White that always got penalized? He's in my head.
Yeah, no.
Jason
I'm glad,
Babin.
I'm glad you're having a mental blank on me right now. I'm going to take advantage of it.
Well, I'm going with Jason Babin. That fills in one of my end spots.
All right.
The wide 9. He was great.
Yeah, you better hope you're running in wide 9. All right. Well, I will take.
Couldn't stop the run for shit, but wide 9.
I'm going to go. My next defensive end will be Derek Burgess.
So I had him there. He was just cut short because he tore his Achilles, and then he went to the Raiders.
Yeah, but he had good. He was good with the Eagles. Then he had a couple good years with the Raiders.
Yeah. Impact player. I think Babin had more.
Yeah, and he made some pretty big time plays in clutch times. All right, there's still 3 big names out there. Defensive end. One you probably won't remember. It's like another one of my stashes.
I gotta put my thinking cap on. It's not Leonard Renfro.
No, he's actually. I actually lied when I was talking about Tom Brookshire being the last Hall of Famer. It was actually a Hall of Fame defensive end. So I'll throw it out there to give you a shot at it. Huh?
Yeah. So he must have played way before our time.
No, he did not.
He didn't play during our time. Not when I watch football. What?
Yes, he did. That's why I said I'm gonna have to probably pick up soon in case you guess.
He must have been at the end of his career then. Or
How many more hints do you want me to give you?
Somebody we gave up on?
It's one of those two. It's one of those 2 that you just mentioned.
We were horrible at drafting defensive ends forever. It had to be somebody that came late.
Well, let me ask you this. When there was a guy that I said this to when you drafted him on the offense, and I said, are we drafting guys that were great players but not with Eagles because they had the end of the career?
No, if they wore the uniform.
Then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you're really getting the career player, not as an Eagle.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why this guy's going to be an amazing pick. But it's your pick right now, so I'll wait for you to go.
Jerome McDougal?
Yeah, right. No, again, he would be on the all-time Eagles bust list. Man, was that guy a huge bust. Talk about a guy who just, I mean, if people put Mamula on a bust list, which I wouldn't put Mamula on a bust list, because he actually was not a bust player. He just didn't live up to. He's more of a guy who just didn't live up to expectations. But McDougal was definitely a bust player. Guy did absolutely nothing.
I'll take, because I have no idea what you're talking about, and we're an hour into the show. So I'll fill out my end spot with Vinny Curry, and then just let you surprise me.
Good pick. Good pick. Is that your last defensive end?
That is.
All right, here's a guy I'm surprised you passed on. Now, Vinny Curry was good, so don't get me wrong, but this guy was better.
Yep. Babin right now, Jason Babin is my reach on D-line.
Yeah, that's definitely a reach, especially when you hear my next pick. But the guy that is amazing that neither one of us picked is Josh Sweat.
Oh yeah, current player.
You're like, yeah, he's current also, but he goes undrafted, which is interesting.
Yeah, and actually, so day 2, let's just fast forward a day where we cut guys and sign undrafted free agents.
You're gonna cut Babin and
I would sign either Sweat or Nolan Smith immediately right now.
Well, yeah, Nolan Smith's the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I took Babin, so Babin's there. So
all right, Smith also doesn't get drafted, but I can kind of see that one because he's only had really one good year. But here's the guy that is now going to join my defense.
Hall of Famer.
I'll give you a hint because I want you to try to figure this one out, but I'm trying to think what hint I can give it without giving it away. Yeah, you definitely know who he is. Absolutely. You saw him in his career. You saw him play. I'll give you his jersey number. I'll start there and see if you can figure it out. Number 95. Now, I'm not sure if that was his number with the Eagles, but he's known, the team he played primarily for most of his career, number 95.
Charles Haley wasn't ever an Eagle, was he?
No. But he played the exact same time.
Yeah, the only 95 I can remember is William Fuller.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying he wasn't 95 in Eagles, I don't think. He might have still worn it.
Oh, yeah, he barely played for the Eagles. Richard Dent. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, he was like injured. But he was on the Eagles.
He was on the Eagles roster. So Richard Dent.
Okay, that's a huge steal.
No, I told you.
Right. If you had Richard Dent across from Reggie White, you'd be loving your defense.
No kidding.
Okay. All right.
So that rounds out my defensive ends.
You're done with ends. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 picks left. 3 of them are at safety.
Yeah, I got 4 picks left too, so we're on the same wavelength here.
All right, I'm going to grab a player that I loved. He was a great player, watched him develop, and then he made it big and had to sign a big contract elsewhere. And I'm going to go with Marcus Epps as my next safety.
Wow, okay, interesting.
I like Epps.
You could make an argument with the 2 guys I have left that he's just as good as them. So I didn't have him on my list, so good pick, good snag for that one. It's up to you, Epps. It's all up to you, Epps.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
It's up to you.
I can't remember the name of the guy that tore his knee open climbing over a fence running away from dogs. But that guy was
he was shoot, who was that?
Was it Reed? Somebody Reed?
Yeah, John? It was Reed. It was something Reed.
Like Jay Reed, Reed or something.
Yeah. That guy, yeah, he was going to be good. That was totally unfortunate. What a weird story too. J.R. Reed, was that it?
J.R. Reed, that's it. Yep.
That was him, yeah. Yeah, you couldn't put him on there. He just didn't play long enough at all. All right, well, I'm going to have to go safety, and I'm really getting down to the bottom of the barrel. Although these guys are adequate players. It's not like they're terrible. But I will go, again, it's another guy that had a better, is more prime years with the Giants. But I will go Greg Jackson as my 5th safety.
Okay. I just thought of a name at safety that's going to be a steal.
You might. I mean,
and I'm definitely going to take him right now because he was on. I can't remember his last name because I'm old and brain farting, but Rodney from UVA.
Rodney?
What was his last name? Mick something. I wrote McDowell, but it's not McDowell, is it?
No. You're gonna have to. I have to at least know who you're talking about in order to draft him.
It's the guy that I'm going to draft him, but it's the guy that we signed from the Rams when he was a free agent, became our starting safety, paired with after Dawkins left.
Oh, yeah, he played in the Super Bowl. He was on a Super Bowl team. Yeah. What the hell was his name?
I don't know. Somebody comment right now.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, somebody leave it in the comments.
I got Rodney.
Okay, yeah. Now that I know who you're talking about, you could draft him. Yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah, that's a sleeper right there. That he shouldn't have slid that long, but I can't.
No.
He just retired too last season.
What the hell is his name? He just retired.
Yeah, I think it's mixed something.
Man, good pick. Definitely better than Greg Jackson. So good pick. Oh, well,
boy,
I hate doing this to the audience though. We're probably screaming at us.
Oh
this
yeah,
was live.
So you guys,
justifiably so, I might add.
I would look him up, but I don't have my computer.
Yeah, I got it here. Just give me a second. He was on his 2017 Super Bowl.
I'm totally whiffing on him.
The heck was his freaking name?
I don't know. We can come back to it. It'll probably pop once we're drafting the rest of our players. I'm down to 2 players left.
Yeah, we'll keep going. So I need one more defensive tackle. I need one more safety.
Same here. That should be it.
And I need one more offensive line, outside linebacker.
Really? Did we skip a pick?
No, because it's my pick for this round.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That makes sense.
And that's where I'm going to I'm going to have to pick a current player for outside linebacker. Can I pick with a guy who hasn't even played yet?
I'll take this year's.
Can I take our number 1 draft pick? He is technically Eagle, but I have no idea if he's a bust or not. Shoot. I have to go with somebody safer than that.
Where are you looking? Outside linebacker or middle?
Outside. I already filled middle. Like any outside linebacker.
What's crazy is I can think of a million of them that you would never draft.
Yeah, there's guys like Kirk Gouveia and, you know.
Oh, there's one of your favorite all times though, but maybe he played in the middle.
Favorite all time.
He's your equivalent to Ron Heller on offense. He's the equivalent to that on a defensive side of things.
I probably wouldn't want to draft him then, but I don't know what you're talking about.
His initials are BH.
B is in boy, H?
Yep. BH. First name rhymes with Mitt.
Mick?
Mitt.
Oh. Yeah. I got you. He's the one that started. Wasn't he the one that started the brawl in Dallas?
Probably.
It was him and Mike Pitts. Yeah, I might as well put him in there. I don't really have anyone else I can think of other than unless I did like Nakobe Dean or something like that. I could put Nakobe Dean down. I'll put him on there. He's a pretty versatile guy. You're talking about Britt Hager, right?
Britt Hager, yep.
Yeah, I'll put him on there. He's a versatile guy.
All right.
Probably could find somebody better than him, but that's all right. I get a pretty solid offside linebacker group. He's probably going to barely get on the field.
All righty.
All right, you're up for the last 2 picks.
I need defensive tackle and I need a safety.
Figure out who the hell Rodney was.
Defensive tackle and a safety. I feel like there's somebody I'm forgetting at defensive tackle.
I just gave you one.
I could go with Mike Pitts.
Yeah, I just gave you him.
I might as well. Since we stalled so much trying to think of the safety's name, I'll go with Mike Pitts as my final defensive tackle. Mike Pitts.
Okay.
Number 74, I believe. Because Golick was 90. JB 99. Clyde was what?
96.
96. Clyde the Glide. Okay, D-line is set. Now I got to think of a safety. Is it McDowell? Rodney McDowell?
Something like that. I'm pulling it up because it's driving me nuts.
Rodney McDowell is an actor, I think.
It's not McDowell, but it's something like that.
There is a Super Bowl
McLeod. Thank
you. Jeez.
I know. I had to look it up, man, because.
Sorry, fans.
Yeah, you got to get that one.
McLeod.
All right. So that's a great pick, too, this late, especially when you hear my next safety, which is going to round out my. I mean, I already would have taken him over Greg Jackson.
There is a Super Bowl champion safety on the roster, though, or still available at safety.
Really?
There is.
What?
He's a Super Bowl champion. Not the most recent one, but the one before that. There was a safety on the field that just seemed to make game-saving tackles. Didn't really do anything else other than just tackle guys 40 yards down the field.
You can tell me it after because I'm not going to guess who it is because I have a guy on here that I just think is he was a good all-around safety, a guy that you could depend on. And again, he's my sixth guy, so I'm not going to, although he might even be better than my fifth guy. I'm going to go with Mike Zordich.
Mike Zordich. I have him in my head, but I left him off because I had one name above that guy.
Yeah, he was just a solid guy, nothing special, but he's my sixth guy. I mean, I'm kind of weak at safety. My last two picks are Greg Jackson and Mike Zordich, but I forgot about McLeod. And I forgot about the guy you're thinking of right now.
Well, he didn't do anything special except save touchdowns.
Was he better than Zordich?
I don't know. Other than the fact that he's taller.
All right, who is he? You can tell me now because I'm done drafting safeties.
Yeah, right. So Zordich was a safety that was on my in my head if it wasn't on my list. Terry Hogue was another one that's there.
Yeah, I remember Hogue. Yeah, Hogue was a good interceptor guy.
And then you had Otto Graham, Super Bowl champion.
Oh, Graham.
Yeah.
Well, he was kind of he played everything. He could also fill in a corner.
Yeah. He kind of was just all I'd see.
Yeah, he was a good veteran guy to have back there.
But I can't think of anybody else. So it's either him or Terry Hogue for me. But you know what? Terry Hogue.
Hogue was good at interception.
He was a fun player.
He played in that Buddy Ryan defense, so he got a lot of those interceptions when he was in there after Waters retired. I think he was the safety.
Yeah, and after Hopkins got hurt.
Yeah, and after when Hopkins got hurt, right.
So I'll go with Terry Hogue.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Good, solid pick.
Do you want to – and then you have the final pick, right?
I do. I have Mr. Irrelevant. But what position do I have open? Oh, defensive tackle.
I drafted my Mr. Irrelevant like 4 picks ago, Jason David.
Well,
he had like a 10-sack year with the Eagles.
Yeah, so my last defensive pick is going to be defensive tackle. I have a pretty good solid group here, so I don't really need to have anyone. Well, it's not going to be anybody spectacular anyway. So it's going to come down between Jordan Davis and Mike Pitts.
I grabbed Pitts.
I think I'm going Pitts.
I grabbed Pitts.
Oh, you took Pitts?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, then that makes – I thought you said I'd grab Pitts. That's what I thought you said. I'm like, yeah, I'll take Pitts.
No.
All right. Well, then that just leaves me Jordan Davis. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else I'm forgetting about.
Nah, Jordan Davis is pretty good.
I could go with Jomo over him.
I think Jordan Davis, the shape that he's in, you're going to want to stick with Jordan Davis.
Yeah, I think I'll take Jordan Davis. At the very least, he's good against the run. So
now,
all right. So the draft is complete. Do I have enough to win on the defensive side, folks?
Let's draft one more thing. Overall, who's your defensive coordinator? I'll let you pick first.
Oh, good idea. Good idea. Well, I mean, it's it kind of comes down to the exact same thing as kicker, right? Kicker, we knew whoever picked the one guy, the other guy is going to be picked. So it's going to be the same thing for defensive coordinator.
No, it's not. I don't think because Buddy doesn't count.
What do you mean Buddy doesn't count?
Huh?
How can you not count Buddy? Oh, because he was head coach.
DC, but Buddy.
That was a trick question.
So who we grabbing? There's about.
Well, there still is really only 2 then, if you ask me. There still is only 2 that I can think of.
I think I got 4. There's 4 that I think are in the competition.
All right. Well, who gets the pick?
I'll give it to you first, unless you want me to. I mean, I don't know who I would take out of the 4.
I don't mind. I mean, I guess it's your pick, technically. It's for you to go first. Because I just picked the last one, so.
You sure you want me to pick this guy?
Yeah, because I'm good with my pick anyway. I said there's 2 guys.
Okay, good. Because I'll take Jimmy Johnson.
You're right. I was going to take Buddy, but I wasn't thinking that he was not DC for the Eagles.
Yeah, I'll take Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. So I'll take the other guy.
Well, I had three names left.
Really? I have one guy that stands out to me.
Bud
I
Carson.
would take Bud Carson.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, Bud would have been my second, and then I would have had either Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
Or Vic Fangio would have been my other two guys.
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles have had some good ones. You could even throw what's his name in there, from the 2017 Super Bowl team.
Schwartz.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, yeah. So that's that. All right, so let's go position by position and see who checks out, who gets the check mark. So go ahead, we'll go defensive end first.
All right.
You read your six guys. I'll read my six guys.
All right. Reggie, Trent Cole, Brandon Graham, William Fuller, Vinny Curry, Jason Bateman.
Tell you what, your Batman pick may put me over the top here.
I know.
Here we go. Clyde Simmons, Carl Harrison Jr., Hugh Douglas, Javon Curse, Derek Burgess, and Richard Dent.
Yeah.
I get it. I think I'd give myself the edge there.
But I got Reggie.
I know you got Reggie, but if you pick Babin, it almost offsets.
Yeah, it does. He's crazy. All right. Geoff gets the check for defensive end, even though I got Reggie White, which means that Babin pick was that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go defensive tackle. Who do you got?
I have Jerome Brown, Corey Simon, Andy Harmon, Mike Patterson, Darwin Walker, and Jordan Davis.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Jalen Carter, Javon Hargrave, Milton Williams, Hollis Thomas, Mike Pitts, and Mike Golick.
I think I got the edge there.
I think I got the edge with Hargrave. I got Carter and Hargrave as my starters. You had who? JB and
Jerome Brown and Corey Simon.
Yeah, that's about a wash maybe. And then
I have Andy Harmon, Mike Patterson, Darwin Walker, and Jordan Davis.
All right, so second tier, Milton Williams and Hollis Thomas is who I have at the number 2 spot. What do you have at your number 2 spot?
Andy Harmon and Mike Patterson.
I like my guys better there. We'll let the audience decide on that one. I think it might be.
That's close. It's definitely close. We'll leave that. We'll call it a wash for now. We'll let the audience decide. Any audience members want to chime down? Who's got the better defensive tackle set? All right, offensive linebacker. I mean,
outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker. We just created a new position. I see the O and I'm like, offense.
I love my guys on this, so I think I might get a tick back in mine. So I got Seth Joyner, William Thomas, Nigel Bradham, Connor Barwin, Carlos Emmons, and Zach Bond.
Very, very, very good. But I start off with Chuck Bednarik.
Yes. Who's kind of halfway on my team because I got him playing center.
That's true.
But he also improves your center position too, but you didn't really need any help on the offensive line anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chuck Bednarik, Jerry Robinson, Bill Romanowski, Michael Kendricks, Jordan Hicks, and Britt Hager.
Yeah, those are good.
I think overall yours is probably better.
Just a slight tick, I think, on my side.
Yeah. So I'll give you that. I think I have middle linebacker, though. I'd be surprised you can get me on middle linebacker.
I think I can. I got Trotter, man.
I know you got Trotter, but I got one of my guys in the Hall of Fame. You don't have a Hall of Famer in there.
No, you do have Bill Berge. Yeah.
Trotter. I got Bill Berge, Byron Evans, and D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Who are your third?
Bond.
Who are your three?
Trotter, Edwards, and Maxie Bond. You got a Hall of Famer. I think
it's good, but I think mine slightly edges you there. It's close.
Yep.
All right, cornerbacks. Want me to go first?
Go ahead.
I have Eric Allen, Ben Smith, Cooper DeJean, Asante Samuel, Roynell Young, and Tom Brookshire.
I got Troy Vincent, Darius Slay, Sheldon Brown, Quentin Mitchell, Bobby Taylor, and Herm Edwards.
Man.
Stacked at cornerback. Lito Shepherd didn't get
That
drafted.
is freaking close. Yeah, Lito Shepherd was not drafted. Neither was Dominic Rogers-Cromartie. Those are the two guys I had still out there. Man, I don't know. I mean, I do have the Hall of Famer in Eric Allen.
And Brookshire, right?
And Brookshire's in.
I don't have any all.
Yours is good, though, because I went with Ben Smith, who was talent-wise, but he didn't have a long career. Cooper's only played a year, but you also have Mitchell. Sante, who couldn't tackle, was a pick machine. And Ryan Young was a really solid cornerback.
Yeah, Roynell and Herm kind of cancel each other out.
Yeah, they do. It's close.
And Eric and Troy, I think, are closer than you give them credit for. But
very close.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm almost calling it a wash.
If I'm generous, you might get the slight tick, or it's a wash. But I'm going to write wash down. I think it's a wash.
All right, safeties. I have Wes Hopkins, Michael Lewis, Andre Waters, Quentin
McKell.
Michael.
Yep.
Greg Jackson and Mike Zordich.
I got Dawkins, Jenkins, Blankenship, Epps, McLeod, I think, is the one that might put me over the top at safety.
Yeah, I think it does.
And Terry Hogue.
I think McLeod gives you that one. Man, this is a much closer call than the offensive side.
Yeah.
I mean, the two definite checks I have, defensive end and middle linebacker. Wash, we call defensive tackles wash. Corners, wash. Give you safety. Outside linebacker, we go with you on that one? I forget. I think we did, right?
Yeah, I think with Seth, Willie T, Nigel Bradham, Zach Bond, I think we gave it to me on that one. Cornerbacks, though, I think it's my own bias if it's a wash, but I think the fans can decide that one. Is it a wash or is it in Jeff's corner?
I think I might have this. If it's an edge, it's a slight edge there on cornerback. And that would be the difference on who's got drafted better defense, because otherwise we both have two checks, right? And we have four. Oh, no, we both have three checks. No, that can't be. We both have two checks and two washes.
Yeah, and I probably could have improved my defense if I just took Mike Mamula over Jason Babin.
The Babin pick might be the difference in the overall draft. Yeah, so leave your comments. Who's got the better team down there on defense? I think it's pretty damn close, really. Really, it's and did we forget anybody? Is there anyone that you guys would have had on your list for a position that maybe Matt and I did not think of?
Right.
Let us know. All right, so we'll be back next week. We'll figure out another off-season fun thing to do and talk about. Not a lot of Eagles news since we last spoke, so things are at the quietest point of the season right now. A lot of the players are pretty much on vacation. Even the media is on vacation, so there's not a lot going on in Eagle Land.
Nope.
But we'll be back next week. Thanks for watching. As always, Matt, any closing remarks?
No, long show. We're at an hour and a half almost, so hey.
Yeah, these shows run long because these lists are, we're put a lot of thought into these lists. So let us know what your thoughts are.
Break it down. Listen to it 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time if you want to, but there should be some entertainment.
Exactly.
The defense we knew this episode was going to be longer than the first one because the offense just has way less talent over the years. The defense is pretty deep.
Tell you, the Eagles defensively, if you were to put an entire roster together against any other team in the NFL, the Eagles would be a top defense. All time talking. It'd be tough. It'd be tough for any team to really match up with what the Eagles could put out there as an all-time team.
Just to toss a couple names out.
Some definitely can. Some certainly can, but it's not many. They're going to be top five, I would imagine.
I think Bears and Ravens would be my next two teams that I would go to off the bat.
49ers had some really good defenses.
Niners, Cowboys had some good D over the years. Hate to say it, but yeah, Niners.
Yeah. Ronnie Lott, Charles Haley, guys like that.
Haley. He was Charles Haley is the one guy I wish was an Eagle at some point because that dude was a beast.
Yeah, And he played a long career, and he was still good towards the end of his career. So, all right, won't keep anybody any longer. We'll check it out. Fly Eagles Fly as always. Till next time, have a good one, and go Birds.